We all live busy lives, and there's never ever enough time for us to do all the things that we want to do. Particularly for those in relationships or marriage, how you spend your time will determine how successful your relationship or marriage will be. In this penultimate video in this series of 7 lessons that I've learned in our 7 years of marriage, I'm going to be sharing lesson number 6. In this video, I'm going to be sharing our own experience of spending quality time and the ongoing challenge of having that right balance on how we use our time. Welcome back. My name is Joel Danya, and all we do in this channel is to discuss all things love, marriage, and parenting. At the beginning of most relationships, well, I hope all relationships, there's always that in-love feeling, that honeymoon phase, if you like, where you're so much into each other, you want to spend all the time together, you want to be together all the time. And I remember those times when we were dating, and if you remember those days of free midnight calls where you could be on the phone for all night, forgetting about all the other things you needed to do during the day. It was that feeling of togetherness that we all craved for, that feeling of wanting to be with someone, spending time with someone. Particularly for married couples, in the first few weeks, first few months of marriage, you are so much in each other, you are spending all the time together, you're literally doing everything together. And for some people, even wearing the same clothes and going to all the places and having fun together as married couples. However, as time passes and reality kicks in, and then you go back to the normal hustle and bustle of everyday life, you realize that you do not have that time again on your hands to do all the things that you wanted to do. But the question is it that we really do not have time again, or there are other equally important things competing for our time? And it's usually in this business of life that we find it more and more difficult to make that time to spend with our partners, to spend with our spouses. And if I'm honest, this is something that has been a huge challenge for us, or should I say for me. I am constantly living in a perpetual state of questioning myself. Am I really spending quality time with my wife? Am I really spending quality time with my children? Am I really spending quality time to do the things that matter to me? Even though these questions may seem self-defeating, they are really important eye-opening questions for everyone to reflect on at some point in time in your relationship or in your marriage. Because even though your relationship or your marriage is very important to your life, there are other equally important aspects of your life which you can't neglect. For example, you can't stop going to work. You still need to work because you need to pay the bills. You need to feed. You need to clothe the children. How then do you strike that balance of still doing the things that you know you have to do, at the same time finding that time to spend with the people who you love, the people who matter to you? The reason why it's important for us to have this very important conversation around time and how we manage our time is because the health of your relationship really is highly dependent on how much time you spend. Is it really also about how much time you spend together or the quality of time you spend together? And for me, I will always look at quality over quantity. Not just because it's a nice refrain to say or to hear, but because I think that if we want to be real with ourselves, we do not have all the time in the world to do all the things that matter to us. But I think that we need to be more intentional on how we use the little time that is available to us and making the most out of it. And that is where spending quality time with your partner, with your spouse, is very important. Spending too little time with your family, with your wife, with your partner, with your children will have a negative toll on your relationship. Spending too much time also can drain your energy and prevent you from spending that time that you need in doing other equally important things. So balance is key, and striking that balance is the constant struggle that we all face. I'm just going to share some few tips that we have implemented and also some things that I've learned from other couples that I think will be helpful for you if you're also in that situation where you're constantly faced with that challenge of spending quality time and striking that balance. As with everything, I think that it starts with having that open and honest conversation with your partner and having that realization of where your relationship is in relation to the time you're spending with each other. Are you all happy that you're spending enough time together? Do you feel that you're spending less time together? And what can you do together to help you navigate that? It was when I moved to the UK that I realized that going on a holiday is not only reserved for the rich. Yeah. And I really want to make this point loud and clear to all our African people who have moved to the West. Please plan and go on a holiday. Holidays do not necessarily have to be expensive, and they do not necessarily have to be abroad. You can go on a staycation, go somewhere local. Just move out of the comfort of your home for once and then enjoy the beautiful scenery and the beautiful life outside of where you live. And it's always exciting to have something to look forward to. We actually have a separate savings account where we put money in for holidays. Now you're receiving this advice from someone who hasn't been on a proper family holiday for God knows how long, but this is definitely something that we are planning towards this year. The thing that we have learned to do is to have a work-free day at least once in a week where none of us goes to work and we are all at home and being together and spending time with the children. This can be very challenging in a marriage where you work different shifts. Do your best to ensure that you have one day, at least as often as possible, that you are all at home and not working. A couple friends of ours have decided that every Friday, as much as possible, they'll be going out to have lunch together. How nice. It's up to you to decide what works for you, really. But at least make the effort to have something dedicated you do with your spouse regularly. One thing that works for us also is getting the children into a routine where they go to bed at a specific time so that we have the rest of the evening to ourselves. It didn't come easy because it required us to get the kids into that discipline of getting a routine of going to bed quite early. And if you're a parent with children, I strongly recommend this for you. Get the kids into a bedtime routine that enables them to settle in bed. And then you can have the rest of the time to spend with your spouse. These are a few things that we have learned from other couples, other parents, and which we have applied in our own marriage, and it seems to be working. I am particularly open to hear from you also. What are the things that you have done that enables you to find that time to spend with your partner? With competing demands for our time, I think it's really crucial that we are more intentional, creating that environment that allows you to spend quality time with your partner. I'll be recording a separate video where I'll talk about how we bring out the quality in the time that you've managed to create. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video is that spending quality time with your partner, with your spouse, is very important towards the health of your marriage. It is the fuel that is needed to keep us constantly in that honeymoon phase in our relationships. I hope the thoughts shared in this video have been useful, and I am particularly interested to hear from you also. What are the practical things that you have done or doing to help you make that time available to spend with your partner? Particularly if you have children, please do share the things that are working for you as well. Please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already, and please do not forget to share as well. Until I come your way again with the final video in this series of 7 lessons in 7 years of marriage. Thank you very much for watching, and God bless us all.